Happy Children's Day to you all. This video is neither for the children nor is it for the adults whose inner child is springing about. This video is for those children who are too young to be called an adult and too old to be called a child. Yes, it is about you, it is for you, the teenagers. I can understand the anger you feel, the frustration you feel when all you want to do is soar, soar, soar high up in the sky. And the whole world is trying to pin you down. It wants to chain you. It keeps on telling you, you can't do this because you're not old enough. And at times it says, you're old enough, you should have done that. And you are caught between this crossfire of not old enough, old enough, not old enough, old enough. So, this story that I have brought for you today is about a young man just like you. He wanted to do a lot of things, and of course, he was not allowed to do that because he was not old enough. So, there was a lot of anger building inside him, and invariably, he would be losing his temper off and on. So, when it became a little bit too much, the father decided to have a talk, a little chat with his son. And he said, My dear, this anger of yours is now getting to be a big problem. It hurts us. But it also actually harms you. So why don't you do something about it? Why don't you try and rein in your temper? And the young man was on that day in a mood to listen to his father, and he thought, yeah, he's right. I need to do something about it. What to do and how to do. So then his father said, the first thing you do is, whenever you lose your temper, I would suggest you go and hammer a nail in the backyard wall. That way you would be able to see for yourself how many times you get angry and what it is doing to you. The young man liked the idea. So every time he would lose his temper, out he would go to the backyard, he would take a hammer and hammer a nail. And very soon he found there were too many nails. The entire wall was covered with nails. Everywhere, nails, nails, nails. And he realized it took more effort to hammer a nail into the wall than it took to control his temper. So every time the situation became adverse or the circumstances were not up to his liking and he was about to explode, he tried to rein in, he tried to control. And by, he was able to control fairly well. So one day he goes and he tells his father that I've been able to control my temper fairly well. So, you know, the father said, oh, that's commendable. So now what you do, every time you are able to rein in, why don't you go pluck the nail out from the wall? The young man liked the idea. So every time a day would pass when he would not lose his temper, out he would go again and pluck a nail from the wall. Now that took even more effort, but he wanted the wall to be free of the nails. So he kept on doing it. And eventually came a day where there was not a single nail on the wall. The wall was clean. So he goes and he tells his father, Daddy, I've been able to control my temper. And now the wall, you can see it's free of nails. Daddy wanted to have a deco. So he went and he saw, and yes, of course, the wall was free. There were no nails. He appreciated his son. He even congratulated him. But then he said one thing. My dear son, do you see those small marks on the wall? Well, they are never going to vanish. They may lighten in time, yes, but they will never entirely go away. And this is exactly what anger does. It leaves marks on the hearts. When you say something bad, it goes straight here and it stays here forever. It does not vanish. It may be covered by layer over layer over layer, but it still stays. And that is the biggest damage the anger does. And no matter how hard you try, no matter what you do after that, the words that have pierced the heart stays there. So you see, my dear, This is exactly what anger does. It harms you, it hurts others, and it stays forever. So every time you are in an adverse situation, every time you think the circumstances are not according to your liking, and you feel that your control is slipping by, try, try and rein in. Because if you do that, you would really, really not be feeling regret that this young man had felt. You would not be looking at a wall which would be free of nails, but would never be free of marks. So, today on Children's Day, that's one little freak advice. Rein in, control your emotions, control your temper, and you, my dear darlings, would forever, forever have a beautiful life, wonderful life. That's all for today. Bye bye and take care.